Thank you. Mucho. We are Vong Mouanoutoua. Vong Mouanoutoua. Let me spell it. Mouanoutoua. Get used to that name. That's the name that's going to represent you. Cái món này cái của phụ là. Lúc nào qua chào tụi mình chúng ta chỉ có nó. Nè, bây giờ chúng bao xe là tụi mình sẽ chỉ xe chúng ta là tụi mình món này mình cả là tụi xe thì chúng cái giờ chung là bao mình cả. Mình chỉ chúng ta chỉ rồi cho nó nào chỉ cái phụ sĩ mình cả cái tên luôn như chỉ thành xe. Rồi mình có quyền lên từ nhưng mà shit hàng của ta sẽ một trở nên vui hơn là họ. Thank you everybody for coming tonight. First of all, I want to thank my parents because I really believe that who we are, a reflection of them, and who we are is because of them. And so thank my mom and dad for being supportive, not just of me, but there were 10 of us. And so I commend them for doing an excellent job, all of us, bringing us here to America. Imagine that, 30 years old, bringing 10 kids to a new nation. I don't think we could do it, but our parents did it. And so not just my parents, but every one of your parents were able to do something that many times I think we do not have the leadership nor the ability to do. Next, I want to thank my wife and my kids. You know, when you take on a mission like this, they better be on board. You have to have their permission and support. Everywhere I go and speak, I always thank her because many times when I get to go, she doesn't get to go. As many of you have seen in the Hmong functions that I speak at, she's not there because we have 4 young children. For anyone to lead, you need a good spouse. A spouse who takes care of the home so that when you go, you're at peace. So that you go, you can do your work. And that is what Jane is. And I appreciate her for that. And I love her, and I thank her for always being supportive. We're learning to be more Americanized and be more affectionate and expressive, so almost there. Maybe at the swearing in, I'll kiss her. Lastly, I want to thank all the supporters, the organizations, the community, the elders, the parents, both from, we have supporters from all communities. And that's what I want to represent, everyone. And so I appreciate all of you coming here. Your presence here shows a lot of courage. Because if you show up here, it means you better not show up at Jim's event. You better not show up at Bob's event or any other candidate's event. It really shows that I will support that guy. And so I appreciate that. That courage is something I can respect. And I appreciate that. And thank you for being here. And lastly, I want to thank God. Thank God for what He's done and what He's given to my life. And I owe, everything to Him. I always say that, I came here naked to this world. And everything that I have today, it is a blessing from His grace. So I thank Him for what He has done. My fellow Americans, I always wanted to say that. I always wanted to say that. And I said that last week for the first time. And I hope that I keep saying that forever. Because look at the faces here. It is all Americans. It is America because we are all here together. And I don't care if your hair is black or your hair is white or your hair is brown or yellow. We all came here because we believe in the dream that is America. We're all here tonight, not by chance. We're here because it was really meant for something. And I hope that maybe after you leave, you'll go, that was why. Or maybe in 5 years, 10 years, you will say, that was why. But there is a reason. Many times we may not know it right away. Nelson Mandela said, sometimes it falls upon a generation to be great. You can be that generation. And as I look out at all of us, this is the time for us to be great. For the young Hmong Americans, this is the time for you to stand and to say, why did my parents bring us here? I have to lead. For the Mexican Americans, for the my Indian and Sikh friends, we are here. What is it? It's here. We are here to be great. And we must embrace that. And we take action and say, how do we become great? And I said, let us be that generation. Robert Kennedy, I know probably someone else said it, but I heard it from him in an old TV. What's the Channel 18, public television, replayed one of his speeches. He said, some men see things as they are and ask why. I see things as how they could be and ask why not. And today I challenge all of you to say, don't ask why. Why aren't we getting together? Why aren't we? No. Why can't we do that? Let's see it. Let's do it. Let's build this first thing. Let's build that first thing. Let's unite. Why not? And that's what we are. We are that generation. And we have to be that generation. Let me tell you about my journey to this run. It started back in Laos. It did. It started back then. Because if it didn't start there, then I wouldn't be here. I'd probably be skinnier, still bald, but working hard on a farm, some hillside, someplace. Either that, or still running away in the jungles. But my grandfather is Mouanoutoua, Mouanoutoua. That is where my name has united, Mouanoutoua. We honor that name, and so it's something in which tells who I am and where I come from. But you see, all Hmong parents want the best for their children. I never believed that until I had children. They are all different, but I want the best for each and every one. The one who I probably discipline the most to the one who gives me the least trouble, I love them the same. I want them all to excel. And our parents love us in that way. They love us differently. They love us through the calluses of their hands, through the sweat on their brow. I'm an emotional guy, so I apologize. Doesn't mean I'm weak. No. But I'll kill you with kindness and mercy. And that's why they love us. The stars. They don't come to us and say, I love you, young son. Come here, do this, do that. No, they work harder. And the harder they work, the more they want us to excel in school. The harder they sweat in the farm, the more they want us to be that next doctor, that next engineer, that next successful businessman, the next person to lead. That is how our parents loved us. And they never define the road and say, go here, and then, you'll see the obstacles. No, Hmong parents are very general. Just go study. Be good and honest. And then you will figure it out. But those principles and the beliefs that our parents had, it was embraced when they joined together with America to fight so that communism will not take over. We loved freedom. We wanted to maintain our freedom. And when we fought together, it was in hopes of keeping Laos a democracy so that we would continue to have our freedoms. Some will leave and look back at that era and say, the Americans used us. I always look back and said, the Americans became our friends. It was a friendship that started, and a friendship that brought me here and all of you here today. Because if we did not have friendship, then we would still be there, running for our lives. I want the parents here today to keep telling the story of why we left Laos to your children. Because as I teach at Fresno State, none of them know anymore. They hear about General Wang Pao, they hear about a war, but they forget. We didn't come here by choice. We came here out of necessity. We came here for a life. Hmong has a saying, when you cross the river, you take off your shoes. When you leave a nation, you take off all that you have. I did not understand that until I met our parents. What were they? Generals. You know, city council, mayors. They left all that. Those people were rich. People had no crime. And they left all that and they came here. And for them to start over, we as young people need to be reminded. We came here for a reason. And it's to live even better than how our parents did. Because they gave up everything they knew. And so we, today, must be that generation that makes them look back at us and say, that's my son. That's my daughter. I'm proud. And then we have to look at each other and say, that's my fellow Hmong. I don't care if he's a Yang, a Paul, a Hyung. He makes me look good. And I hope that I will also be someone you can be proud of and say, that's my fellow Hmong. I say that because we put this thing together in 2.5 weeks and we filled 30 tables. Not that everyone's here, but we got 30 sponsors. Give us a month and I guarantee you this whole hall will be full. That's the support that I have seen, and I am humbled by your support here today. You see, we fought really for freedom. Ronald Reagan said, freedom is one of the deepest and noblest aspirations of the human spirit. We are noble people. We want freedom. And we come here and we have it. Our parents left for a better chance of life. And I tell young people, go document this story down. It's almost like how the founding fathers left and came to America. You know what happens when America struggles? They always look back at the Constitution and they say, what did they mean? Why did we leave? Why did we start this nation? And every time we struggle, we have to look back and say, why did we leave Laos? Why are we here? What is it? And it's every time when we look at that intent, that we will be humbled and be reminded that that was why. And so we keep going. And so I imagine my life if I was still back in Laos. And I say, we are truly blessed. Because I can't. I don't know what to imagine. Hmong Americans are the most blessed of all the Hmong in the world. Your dollars, your intelligence, your love can help everyone in the world. I have never seen the 2 million Chinese Hmong ever send anything here to help us, as in a yen, okay, or starting to anything. But we have been able to help everyone. And that is a testament not to us, but to this great nation. To America. America provided us. All of us here have the opportunity for education, and we must embrace it. This is the only country in which if you can't get to a private school, you can go to a state school. You can't get to a state school, you can go to a technical school. You can't go to a technical school, you can go online. You want to go online, you can go start your own business and be Bill Gates. Like how powerful, how great this nation is. You can do all that. And we must remember that our job as a nation is not to restrict those rights, but to protect it. Those are not American rights. Those are God-given rights. Rights that every human being deserves, and every human being has. And our job is to make sure that we continue to have them. Winston Churchill said, we make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give. And as you think about that quote, and as I think about it, I say it's time for me to make a life. So it's time for me to give. To give of myself, to serve the people that I represent and that I will represent, not just in the 23rd District, but in California. Why am I running? When I first asked people, they said I was crazy. They said I was crazy. And I said, probably. So I'm going against Jim Patterson and Bob Whalen and Mr. DeFrank and Mr. Robles. Why would they support Mouanoutoua? And I said, good. Because if I was a little sane, then I would have quit already. I would have stopped. You know, when I first decided to run, I called the establishment. I called the party. And I said, hey, I'm running. I'm putting my name in. I paid for the most expensive essay that I've ever paid for. You know, that statement you write to put in? $5,000 for 200 words. And you know what the party said to me? Why? Why are you running? Are you committing political suicide? And you know what? I was encouraged by that. Doesn't mean they were scared. You see? Because we were going to make an impact. I didn't look at it as, oh no, you weren't qualified. No. I looked at it as, it's time. The time is right, more so than ever. See, I run to give hope. Hope for what, Mom? Hope to the future leaders. To those children and your children. Because if I don't run, and if we stop running, because you know, Republicans can't do anything in the state. They're a minority. They can't do anything. And I keep telling them, look at me. I'm a minority. Nothing new. I'm used to being a minority. I've been a minority all my life. And so it's time just to work. But I run really to give hope. Because if we stop today, then the future Einstein politician, the future Lincoln, the future Kennedy will say, they're not going. There's nothing left. I know that the Hmong loves soccer, but I have to use soccer as my analogy. You know why we get beat as a nation in soccer? Because our best athletes don't play soccer. They play football, basketball, what's the other one? Baseball. They don't play soccer. So when we go play against Brazil, we'll lose. You know what, politicians? We're not great anymore because we don't send our best to them. That's what we can't expect of us. We don't send people who stand for you. People who listen to even the smallest voice to the biggest voice. People who will say, that is why I'm running. You are the reason. You are the power. And that's what we need in Sacramento. And that's what I will do for you. I want to give you hope again. To say, oh, at least he's listening. Because Americans need that hope. Americans need to restore into its dignitaries or elected officials some sort of pride again, some sort of level of expectation. Because when I get in there, I will go with the freshmen and say, will you join me in making politics different? You and me who know no different. You and me who come with no platform, with no party affiliation. Even if we have it, we're not going to carry some platform. We're just going to look for the results. Will you join me? And the two of us, three of us, change California. But my running, hopefully, is also hope for you. To say that an immigrant 30 years ago can run for state assembly. And you can look at your child and say, you can do it, son. You're naturally born here. I say to the students at Fresno State, you know, there's one job you guys can do that I can never do. And they said, what's that? I said, you can be the President of the United States of America. I can never do that. Because I wasn't born. There's something beautiful when I became a U.S. citizen. I read in the book, just the 12th of April, we just had another swearing in. You know what it said in there? Today you are no longer Asian American, African American, Cuban American. You are American. And that's what we have to do. We're just some Americans. We have to say we are Americans. And I look forward to the day, whether we win or not, that one day it'll be your son that I support, your daughter, your brother, your sister. That is the hope that I want to bring. And someone says, well, why go against former Mayor Jim Patterson? Why go against Councilman Bob Whalen? And I always ask the question in reverse. I say, what do you do? And they say, oh, I play basketball. I said, well, okay, if you play basketball, wouldn't you want to play in the NBA? If you were a computer person, wouldn't you want to work for Apple or IBM or Microsoft? You will want to work with the best. When I run, I want to run against the best. That's what I'm doing. So I want to give people hope. Second, I want to give people a voice. All Americans have a voice. On my job as the Planning Commission, you know who comes to the Planning Commission hearings? The people who are against the project. The people who are for it won't come. And there might be just one neighbor, one resident. But you know what they are afforded? The ability to say, I don't like it because. And they give you their reason. You know, most people don't need their position to win all the time. They don't. But they do want to be heard. Our district has pockets of poverty. And those pockets cannot be ignored. Because the decisions that we make in Sacramento sometimes do not affect your more well-to-do as it does those who are poor. My counterpart said, oh, when I go up there, I'm not going to take the per diem. I'm being courageous. And I keep saying, that's not courage. You want to be courageous? Go to Motel Drive, which is in our district. Go walk at it at night. Look at the prostitutes. Look at the young children who are running away. And see what you can offer to give them. That's courage. Look at the minority groups whose voices are not heard. And so you can go in front of them and not be afraid and say, what can I do for you? That's courage. What's courageous to go and say, Clovis, you do have poor people too. And they live in Southwest Clovis. And what can we do to help them? That's courage. Because the decisions we make could mean no gas, no food, no rent. To the most needy of us. I've always believed that if you help the most needy of us, you help everyone. I said, what do you mean by that? For example, the last time you rode your bike at an intersection, you don't even think about it now. There's a little cut now, right, for the handicap, and you just ride through. Last time you showed a little suitcase, you just walk through. That was for the most needy of us. But it would be all bad for you. So if you help the most needy, you help all of us. And we have to keep remembering that so that we can help. Lastly, I run to fulfill a dream. A dream for myself, a dream for all of our parents, a dream of what we stand for. To excel, to be included, and to be courageous. Oprah Winfrey said, the biggest adventure you can ever take is to live the life of your dreams. All of you have dreams. And I hope that you're living to meet those dreams. You got only one life. Whatever your dream is, I hope that you will go for it as well. As we move forward, there will be walls. There will be obstacles. Randy Pausch said it best. Randy Pausch said, you know what the walls are for? It's not so that you can't go through it. It's to keep other people out. And I thought about that, and that's right. That's why people don't run. It's to keep all the others out. It's so hard. There's so many roads. There's so much fundraising. Whatever your dream is, you will always run across walls. And we're running across walls, but we're going to go through it. Because it's keep the others, the ones who are afraid. Leonardo da Vinci said, obstacles cannot crush me. Every obstacle yields to stern resolve. He who is fixed to a star does not change his mind. We're fixed to that goal. We're not changing our mind. We're going to continue. We're going to keep going. Because we have given you hope. And we have laid a seed, as said earlier by Tim. And we have also motivated you. And we have people coming out to help. And we have passion as well as compassion. And we will keep going. What am I running on? What do I believe in? My billboard says family, community, legacy. I believe that in order for any community to be strong, we need strong families. And in my work in nonprofits, that's where it is. When the family is broken, the children will not do well in school, the parents will not provide a good support system, there's issues with crime, there are issues with drugs. But when there is a strong family, even though you could be poor, those children will succeed. We grew up poor. We were on welfare. I remember Medi-Cal when it had those stickers. Okay, you go, you rip a sticker out and, give it to the doctor. I remember all that. I remember food stamps. When it used to be the $1 color, the $5, and, the whatever, the brown, green, and I remember all that. Yes, we were poor. But my parents taught us that never let the level of your income dictate the level of your integrity, the level of your worth, and the level of your hard work. Let us live on it. But don't any of you come back on it, because you have the opportunities here in America to not live on it. And so I thank my parents for always teaching that to us. But I think not just my parents teaching me, look at all of you. Many of you are my generation, and every one of you is a successful professional. And that is a testament to our strong family values. And that is something in which this community needs desperately. And we must go secure resources, enforce laws that protect the family and support the family. With that, I want to take a moment to thank my dad as he walked to the restroom. But I want to thank him. I want to thank him because many times we don't get to thank our parents enough. And it's not until, they leave us that we regret that we never got to thank them and to tell them that we love them. But many of you still have your parents around. And I encourage you to take the time to show them what you can do to make them proud. I know that there's nothing that makes a parent more proud than a child that is successful, that is loving and respected. So I thank him for that. I am saddened that I did not get to spend enough time with him when he was more active, either with the general or community activities. Because his friendships run deep and wide. And then you grow up later and you say, it's a little late, they're tired. They don't go out as much. And some of you have parents who are still very active, and so I encourage you to get to know your parents and to get to know their friends. And my hope is that we become friends just like how our parents were friends. So to Chimene, his family, to everyone who knows my father, that is my hope. That we embrace each other and support each other just as when our fathers were still alive, or as, how they used to. Another item that I truly believe in is education. I just went to a breakfast. We spend almost 10 times as much for children who are incarcerated than for children in their education. $8,000 to almost $80,000. And as I looked at that, and I said, our children deserve so much more from us. They deserve everything. And we in government must be able to say, yes, they are worth the investment. They must be a priority. We must spend every dollar so that every child, whether they are an English language learner, whether they are, a GATE student, that they will have the opportunities. If they so choose not to go to college, that is fine, but we have provided them the opportunity of success. Because you know what was success for all of us? It was education. That was the key to where we are today. Lastly, I just want to say, another key to success is a hard work ethic. And I will work hard. Abraham Lincoln said, the probability that we may fail in the struggle ought not to deter us from the support of a cause we believe to be just. And if we apply this to the campaign, yes, we may lose. We may not get elected. But our victory is not in that. That is the kind of the icing on the cake. Our victory is that we have started the path. Our victory is that, yes, Vong did it, I can do it. If he can go, I can go. So that way you and your daughters and your sons will go, I want to do that. I want to lead. And that we encourage and we support them. Strong families, strong communities, and legacy. What do I mean by legacy? Legacy, I say simply as, are we doing something so that future generations can be proud? Am I being the son that my father can look to and say, good? Am I being the employee that someone can look to and say, I want to hire you? Am I being the parent that my children can look up to and learn and say, I want to be like my father, I want to be like my mother? That is legacy. And if you join together with me, we will build a legacy. A legacy that future generations can look to and say, that was the start of California turning around, the start of Republicans and Democrats acting like true leaders and empowering the people again and saying, yes, that's how we lead. It is for California and Californians all together, working together. I said in my initial interview on TV, we are taught everywhere to work together, but I don't understand why in politics we don't do that. Husband and wife, we have to compromise or work together. Yet that word, if you use it in politics, it's taboo. We can't cross over. And I look at the issues that face us, poverty, unemployment. I have never seen a statistic that says, oh, this year poverty is only going to select the Republicans. Unemployment is only going to select the Green Party. It doesn't. It affects every one of us. And we are really just one party. And the issues, if we solve them, will benefit all of us. William Shakespeare says, be not afraid of greatness. Some men are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them. I think all of us fall into one of these categories. We're meant for greatness. Starting today, join me. And they will no longer, and we will no longer say, we are just average. We are just, your typical. No. We are meant to be great. We are that generation. There's no room for third place in this primary. Second, I'll take that. Because that takes us to November. But unless you join me and help me in this first round, then the help doesn't come. But if you help me and we place second, help will come so that we don't even want it. It'll come. Those two final candidates will get help from everywhere. But this initial round, I need you. I need you to say, yes, I gave you 125 today for this meal, but I will give you another 125 because I want you to be there. Because there's a cause, there's a belief, and there's a reason. And I want you to believe no room for third place. We want first. And then we can make it into November. Tell your family, tell your friends. When I first started running, Howard came and said, if your family just voted for you, you would win. Because you're all with the Hmong family here. And I said, that is right. Do you know that in our district, there are 9,862 who voted in 2010. That was without a Hmong candidate, you see? Just out there. You guys came out. And so now there's even a bigger reason, and now we can come out even more. And I think we are already halfway there. And then we will have the support of every community in the district. I keep telling, some groups that I go to, more your Democrat groups. And I said, you know what? My counterparts will not speak in front of you. I will. You see? Because I believe your concerns are my concerns. I went to an NAACP men's training. And you know what they were discussing? The same stuff we go through as well. And we left the meeting, I talked to guys and said, we go through the same things. We are very similar. And that is the truth. We are very similar. So I encourage you, register to vote. May 21st is the deadline. Please go register. Register yourself, register your friends, register the rest of your family. And second, go out to vote. It is one of the most, I think, honorable rights that we have. Go out to vote. And tell your parents, because some have told them, if you are on SSI, you can't vote. If you're on public assistance, you can't vote. And tell them that is a lie. They can vote, and their assistance will not be taken away. And they need to vote. They need to vote. And lastly, I encourage you to come out and support us in our efforts. Tonight, if you have time, come over to my house. It's on my card. We're going out to put signs up. I need a truck. I need manpower. I need your sons and daughters. We have a group of about 15, but if we can get a group of 100, we'll be done by 9 o'clock. If you don't, we won't be done until 3 in the morning. And so I encourage you to come out. And then next Saturday, I want every one of you to come out. We want 200 people to walk this precinct. So that way they'll see that what a force, what a support we have. Because no one else is walking this precinct. Because it's so huge. But we say we have over 200, 300 people willing to come out on a Saturday to walk because they believe in the cause. So you come out to Clovis High this Saturday at 8 o'clock. I'll feed you breakfast if you walk for me. And we'll go out Saturday. And then after we finish, there's a fundraiser at Pho King. 20% of the proceeds go to us, and then we'll go eat pho at Pho King. And there will just be a full day together. Come on with me. Now, I have been humbled by the response of the community. Not just our community, but the African American community. The churches on the west side have embraced our movement, and they are moving people on the ground to register voters. Because you know what they have? They also have a lot of community churches where there are well-to-do African Americans still going to the west side to go to their place of worship. They have come on board. The Latinos have come on board because Latinos believe in family, and they know that we are strong family individuals, and they have embraced our movement, and they know that there are concerns of Latino immigrants that I will understand and embrace, because this is as much their country as much as ours who have been here longer. And then now we're moving into my fellow Sikh friends and their community. We want everyone. This is everybody's country. This is everyone's district. We want everybody's voice to be heard. So join me. Like I said earlier, I've been overwhelmed by the support. The most touching was a grandmother. I don't know who she is. She just saw me on TV. She came to our office at the Lau family. She came, she gave $5. She took the bus there. And she said, you know, "Mi tu como you know, como my goodness, I was moved to tears, you know. Here, take it back. But she gave what she could. So I go and took the bus and come see me, gave it to me, and I was moved. I said, that's support. And some of them don't even have anything, but the encouragement is also support in itself. To hear our elders say, go for it. That's what we want. That is encouragement in itself. So to all of you who can do even more than her, I encourage you to challenge yourself. Not that you give to me, but give to a candidate. Show your support. Give to me, I appreciate even more, but give. And give more than what you have given last year or before. Because together, that's the only way we can win. And I know that if you tell 10 more people, and those people tell them 10 more, we will have the 20,000 votes that we need to go to November. 20,000. Easy. I need your help. We can get there. So I encourage you, tell everybody. Last thing I want to say is, most of us here are most, I want to say, we're good people. I was a school site council president, and we met with a lot of teachers. And you know what the teachers say? They love it when there's a classroom full of young kids. First of all, because the parents don't complain. So it's a peaceful year. But secondly, because our kids are very obedient. They want to learn. They may be behind a level or two, but they're good. And you know what most people say about us as employees? We're good employees. We are probably the people in county who have the most vacations. And so we are good employees. And you know what that is truly a testament to? Your parents. Your parents. Because they raised you well. Finally, I just want to say thank you to all of you for coming out, for the support that you've given. I'm humbled by it. And I'm also encouraged by it. And so, with that, I just want to say thank you. God bless you all.